Hi guys, it's been a while. I wanted to do a video about my mice. Basically, my experience working with this specific breeder. Her project name is the Mouse Garden, and she works in Ontario. Ta-da! There's a mouse. um, so these are my mice that I got from her. This is Io. She's a white satin with black eyes and giant ears. She's a very rare color. She's my baby. She's about 6 months old. We have Apollo, red eyes. She's 6 months old and she's a Siamese. Say hi. And we've got the big girl, Gaia. She's 9 months old. She's a Burmese satin, giant ears too. She's the half sister to Io. You're probably noticing that one is missing, and that's Artemis. She died recently, and I'll be talking about that shortly. They're all going down a train in my arm. Yeah, going. My friend, who's a mouse expert, and me, we were wanted to get mice, and she seemed like the best breeder in Ontario as far as quality for mice. So that's what we thought at the time. So he made the trip, came back with two for himself, one of which was Apollo, and five for me. The first casualty was not long after this. It was Daphne. She was a little Siamese mouse. She was very sweet, but she was not well, and I could tell that right away when I got her. We've decided that she had some kind of weird neurological problem, just based on the symptoms. It was something that my friend had never seen before, which is saying something because he's bred, hundreds and hundreds of mice. She died rather painfully, and that was pretty sad. So I had Artemis and Io and Nyx and Nike. And Nyx and Nike were sisters, and they were crazy. And I thought it was just, extra energy because they were young and whatever. But it was kind of like they were feral. I couldn't tame them no matter what I tried. And they kind of got in spats with the other girls. So I was like, okay, I'm going to separate them. I brought them to my friends. For the time being, he took in Nyx and Nike, put them with his two girls, which were Apollo and this other mouse I talked about. And I took in Gaia at that time. Actually, no, I took in Apollo and Gaia. He had two mice that he put with Nyx and Nike. And he had them for a little while, and they seemed to be getting along great with the other two. One night, a crazy thing happened. Nyx, something snapped in her head and she went crazy, and she killed all three of the other mice. So his two and Nike. And that was a horrible, horrible thing for my friend to discover. And they put Nyx down after that because she was clearly like insane. And so that was two of my mice gone, boom, and two of his mice gone. So then I had Apollo and Gaia and Io and Artemis. I went on vacation to Toronto not that long ago, like right before I was giving my pets to my friend because he was going to look after them for me while I was away. And Io was losing weight and like crazy, and that's a really bad sign in mice. Means they're sick. So I told him to keep an eye on it, and I felt bad because I was giving him a possibly sick mouse. So he looked after them and texted me while I was away saying that he was sure that Io had upper respiratory infection, which is very dangerous for mice. We also noticed before I went that Gaia had a weird lump under her throat. I told him, okay, if you can get them to the vet, that would be fantastic. So he did, and luckily my other friend paid for it at the time. I've paid him back since, but obviously at the time I was in Toronto, I couldn't do anything about it. So because of that, they basically saved Io's life. I'm pretty sure she would have died by the time I got home. So they found out that Gaia had a possible benign tumor, which means it's not cancerous, which is good. But it's still a weird genetic thing. And Io had an upper respiratory infection, and Gaia had an upper respiratory infection, and it turned into pneumonia. They got them on medicine, and I had to keep them on the medicine twice a day for 2 weeks. 2 weeks went by, and then they seemed fine off the medicine for a few days. And then I tried them on some new food, and I think Gaia was allergic, or both of them were, because they both started making the upper respiratory infection sounds again. So I had to get them back on the medicine for another 2 weeks. And at the same time, I noticed that Artemis and Apollo were not doing well. They sounded like they had URIs. All of the things I'm mentioning that was wrong with them were genetic problems. The reason they kept getting URIs is because they have weak immune systems. So I had 4 mice that I was medicating. And that was crazy. Somebody falling asleep. 3 of them seemed to get better. Artemis was not getting better at all. She seemed really rough. She was losing fur around her face. She hated being touched. She would bite and run away. She just hated hands. So we figured she was in a lot of pain, couldn't figure out what it was. After 2 weeks, that's a long time for a mouse to be on medication, and to have nothing get better is not a good sign. So it was basically a sign that she needed to be euthanized. So literally the day I was going to go get her euthanized, she died. And her stomach was really huge when I found her dead. It just got like that. So we think it was a... You fell. We think it was either a stomach ulcer that exploded, or maybe twisted intestine that burst. So there's a couple of options there, both are genetic problems. That leaves me with these 3, who I'm still very paranoid about, because like I said, genetically they have weak immune systems, so they can easily get sick, and it may just be that they will constantly be getting URIs over the rest of their lives. Gaia's lump, I don't know if I can even show you it. I don't know how I can show you it. It's under here. It got a little smaller, but it's still there. You guys peed on both my shoulders. What is that about? Oh gosh, guys. Owning mice, just be prepared. They pee and poop so much, you would not think they could do that much for how little they are, but you'd be surprised. Yeah, so that has been my sad experience with this breeder. Just kind of letting you guys know that that's what happened. God. We're both cleaning each other at the same time. That was so cute. These 2 love each other. They're sisters, and I think they know it. They love each other. They look like sisters, don't they? So there you go. That's basically the update on the mices. I'm gonna do one on the guinea pig shortly. Oh. Keep calm and stay shiny. And we'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.